Well, I'm here at Ather Energy's largest electric two-wheeler manufacturing plant on the outskirts of Tamil Nadu in Hosur, a plant which has a capacity of producing about 1.10 lakh scooters annually and about 1.20 lakh battery packs annually. This plant also comes at a time when India's nascent EV story is picking up pace, especially in two-wheelers. Now, to take us through what really goes around at this factory, joining me is Tarun Mehta. He's a co-founder of Ather Energy. Tarun, pleasure to have you with us again.
Hi Nishant.
Tell us, so what's really happening here?
So what's happening is, this is our plant. We build a vehicle, and so that's the vehicle assembly line that you see behind you. And behind that is a battery assembly line. So both vehicles and batteries are manufactured here. This is a new plant. It improves our production capacity by almost 10 times. Jumping up from somewhere around 1,000 units or so a month to almost 9,200 units a month. So that's what happens here. The line is there, the storage is here, the finished goods is here, raw materials is there.
And there's a battery plant as well.
And the batteries behind us.
Right. Also, give me a sense of what kind of targets that you have in terms of selling. What's the demand like for you? And this has a capacity of 1,10,000.
Yeah.
When do you think you're able to use it fully?
Let's see, we don't talk about our sales numbers, but there's been some strong growth since we began X. We've grown at between 30 to 40% month on month. We're seeing very strong demand from all cities. So just last week we had close to 7,000 people who booked a test ride. We're scrambling around to make sure we can service all those test rides ASAP.
Right.
I think the story of electric in India is going to be one where you have to be constantly running to keep up with demand.
Right.
Once you have the right products, figuring out your distribution is going to be the key challenge, and figuring out your supply. Demand, there is a plenty. Like there are people coming, like once you open up a city, like we open up Ahmedabad, there are people who will come from like far interior parts of Gujarat in trucks, in minivans, to take your scooter and take them there because you're not there yet.
Okay.
So there are asks for satellite experience centers, hub and spoke model. I think there's enough demand.
Right.
I think it's a question of how quickly can you scale up distribution.
What about supply chain? You mentioned supply is key, and we have seen sort of in the overall automobile industry as well, there's a whole sort of supply chain disruptions happening. How is the supply chain intact, and are you facing any challenges from that point of view as well?
So supply chain is a challenge. It's specifically because there's been a challenge on the electronic components, especially the active components. That certainly disrupted us also. JFM, January, February, March plans were disrupted a little bit because of that. I am hoping that by July this year, situations start coming back to a little bit more normal scenario.
And what are you also, how long will this plant last for you? Because you're on a very growth trajectory now, 27
I think
cities.
by sometime next year, we should have completely utilized this capacity. This area was taken with a plan for expansion, so there is a space 2x of the current space already available.
Okay.
That we will likely pick up by sometime in 2022. We should improve our capacity to about 3 times, to roughly about 3.5 lakh, maybe even a little bit more on an annual basis.
Right. And talking about, Munjal Group has a significant investment in
Right.
Ather Energy as well. Are there any plans of sharing of parts, technology, or even the vehicle as well? Because they're also looking at an EV story, and that's also in the works.
So, Hero MotoCorp is an investor, and they are fantastic investors to have. They've been super supportive over years. As of now, there is no operational synergy, nor is there an expectation for technology or product sharing on both sides. They are trying to figure out their own EV strategy. We are at an early stage of building out our business. As opportunities come up for synergy in the future, especially maybe on the infrastructure side, we'll look at them. But today it's an early stage.
Okay, fair enough. Talking about the growth strategy as well, you have been on, what are the key demand markets for you right now?
I'd say Bangalore, Hyderabad, Pune, Chennai. But we're only present in 8 cities.
Right.
We're only delivering in 6. The last 2 just are kicking in now. So hard to say more than this.
Right.
But in that order, roughly, I would say is the demand.
And lastly, on the expansion plan as well, you have gotten a good stronghold with these 2 beauties here. What kind of product categories also are going ahead?
For this year, we will only stay focused on the 450 platform. You may see a variant or two, but this year that's also not certain. Maybe in the next 2 years or maybe 3 years is when you will see more products or new architectures, something beyond a scooter, let's say. But in the next year or so, we will stay focused on scooters and specifically the 450 platform.
When you say scooters, you'll always aim to remain a two-wheeler company?
No,
or?
that's in the name, right? Like we call ourselves Ather Energy, and that was with the idea that we want to like electrification is a big vision for us. Scooters are a great starting point, but that's not the end. That's just a starting point. But in the next 2 years, if I say, yes, it's scooters.
And also on the battery infrastructure, you're also setting up your own power charging station as well. What kind of challenges and growth opportunity you are seeing there?
So there is a big need for fast charging everywhere. We're already at more than 100 charging points, and we're adding more than 20-30 charging points every month now. So we should cross 300 charging points pan-India by later this year. And this number will keep going up. The ambition is to be at several thousand fast charging points across several cities, across 50 cities by sometime next year. So that ambition is there, and I think we are roughly on track for it.
All right. Tarun, always a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you so much for your time and speaking to me.
Nice talking to you.